Good evening, I'm Rachel Maddow. Thank you for joining me tonight. 10 days away from the election right now, we got a lot to cover tonight. We start with mail-in ballots tonight. The explosion of mail-in voting this year during the coronavirus epidemic is part of the reason that we have so many Americans who are already casted their ballots in this election. Over 47 million Americans have already voted, and over 30 million have already voted by mail or drop box. But it's a new process for a lot of people, and it can be hard, and the rules can be arcane. That's even when things go well. But things are not going well with the Postal Service, and a lot of places where vote by mail is going to be key. AP reporting today that after changes instituted by the Trump donor who installed at the head of the post office this year, there are still persistent delays in the Post Service across this country. And surprise, it's particularly the case in certain battleground states, where mail-in ballots could potentially decide the outcome of the election. Quote, parts of the presidential battleground states in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Ohio fell short of delivery goals by wide margins as the Postal Service struggles to regain its footing after a tumultuous summer. It was an organically arrived upon tumult. It was the post office being screwed up by the Trump administration. Postal Service aims to have at least 95% of first-class mail arrive within 5 days. That target is being missed now almost everywhere in the country. But it's worse, as I said, it's worse in battleground states right now. And this is a particularly concerning problem in the great state of Michigan. Thanks to Michigan Republican legislators and judges, ballots that are not received by Election Day are not going to be counted in Michigan this year, no matter when they were postmarked, which means it really, really matters if the mail is slow. Well, in the Detroit area last week, long-time mail delivery barely cracked 70%, which is really, really bad. Joining us now is our consultant over in Detroit, Michigan, Melvis. Melvis, thank you so much for taking time tonight. It's good to have you here. Hey there, Rachel. How you doing tonight? Thanks for having me on your program. It's a real swell program, and, I really dig it. So, the mail on-time delivery situation is still bad nationwide. It really does seem like they messed up the Post Service as best they could this summer. But is it your contention, is it your understanding that it might actually be worse in Michigan than almost anywhere else in the country? Well, it is really bad in Michigan right now, and in a lot of the swing states, as you said. They've been doing an investigation on the Postmaster General, seeing what the effect of some of his changes that he's made in the summer have been. And you know what? There's not really a lot of data to back up what the changes he made were. As you mentioned, it was 95% is the goal to deliver between 1 to 5 days within that time. In Detroit, for example, it's down to the 65%. And we've been watching it, and it's recovering in parts of the country for sure, but not in Detroit. Detroit's only back up to 72%, which is just not effective enough. It's just not where it should be, So to have this lag in delivery in some of these battleground states is really a concern. When you talk to people who are concerned about whether or not their ballot is going to count in Michigan, what are you advising people to do? I mean, obviously there's a real reason to worry about the Postal Service, particularly in Detroit. What are you advising these people to do? And many states around the country say that if it's postmarked on the date, that it will be counted, but not in Michigan. So, if you're concerned about this, find out where your drop box closest to you is, where your county clerk is, and drop it off if you're concerned about the mail. This great institution of the US mail, it used to mean something, and it's just a darn shame that it's come to this. And I'd like to maybe sing a song to kind of convey the whole overlying message of this. If you want, would you mind if I sang a little song? All right, go for it. I'd like to hear a song from you. Well, thank you, Rachel. Really appreciate it. Now, the US Postal Service was established. 1775 was the date, and it ensured the reliable delivery of US mail across these good old United States. But now its reputation is in jeopardy because of the newly appointed Postmaster General. So we gotta fix our US mail system so that you can vote in November. So I'm the US mail, talking about the US mail, M-A-I-L. So I said all that to say all this. I've been watching the way you've been watching the ballots. These last couple months, you've been hot on the trail of messing with the system of the US mail. You touch them once with your greasy hands, I'm gonna stretch your neck like a long rubber band. The efficiency of the post office shouldn't be for sale. That's why we have to protect the U.S. mail. Better not mess with the U.S. mail, my friend. This U.S. mail gets mad, he's gonna do you in. If you know what's good for yourself, son, you better find somebody else, son, who's trustworthy of running the U.S. mail. Here we go. Through the rain and the heat and the sleet and the snow, the U.S. mail is on its toes. You've been switching things up, and that ain't wise. You ain't pulling wool over any of our eyes. I catch you messing with those ballots, champ. I'm gonna leave your head in the shape of a stamp. Kind of flattened out more than it already is, so quit playing games with American citizens. You better not mess with the U.S. mail, my friend. This U.S. mail gets mad, he's gonna do you in. If you know what's good for yourself, son, you better find somebody else, son, who's trustworthy of running the U.S. mail. I just want to tell people that they can go mail in their ballots. If they're concerned about the mail-in ballots, they can go drop it off at their county clerk's office, or they can bring it to a drop box. It's gonna be a tough one. It's a tough one this year. We just gotta power through, and you gotta vote wherever you can. Drop it off at a drop box. Go to your county clerk, but make sure you vote because your country needs you. That's our consultant MELVIS in Detroit, Michigan. Thank you for walking us through this tonight. I know you got a lot on your plate right now. Thank you. Thank you very much, Rachel. All right, lots more to come. Stay with us.